Hey everybody, it's your friend SimplySuperDave coming at you trying to stay super himself with another episode for you to listen to. Today is Friday. Oh God, who doesn't love a Friday? I mean, Fridays are just what dreams are made of, right? The struggle all week long from Monday, all those Mondays. Man, it seemed like so long ago. And then Tuesday always, just kind of another Monday, but not so bad. Like you're getting into a groove, or you hit your groove. Wednesday, you're like, you can see Friday. You can see the end of the tunnel. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Those weekends that go wrong, though, those end up being not the light at the end of the tunnel. Those end up being like a freight train or something. Those weekends that are jam-packed with stuff instead of a lazy weekend, those are the lights at the end of the tunnel that we all strive for. But then there's a lot of us out there that don't know what the fuck a weekend is. And I'm talking to you people out there that have to work just about 7 days a week. And you're not just working one job, are you? No. We all know they don't take more. It takes more than one income to pretty much pay all the bills. You know, if you can get one job to pay your bills, consider yourself very lucky. And congratulations. And I can, continued success to you. I'm not trying to guilt trip. Hey, you're doing fantastic. Feel bad for other people. No. I take blame for my lack of motivation in areas and work ethic and where to put the effort at and where not to. I've been called wishy-washy. I've always gotten bored with jobs, moved from one to the other, never been fired. I've always had good work ethic. I've always been promoted, but just never stuck around. And we all know if you ever, back in the day at least, you wanted to make a lot of money at a job, you stay around. Now it's more like about, talent, really. And then everything else is shuffled into a corporate agenda. And I would recommend a documentary called The High Price of Low Cost. It's a documentary on corporate Walmart in the 90s and how they pretty much established a system that exists today. And it to the highest degree with internet and technology being integrated. And now that you got self-pickup and self-checkout and all kinds of, all of it's but you got to understand, that is forward progress. That is supposed to happen. It's a little risky thing, but it lowers that, I don't know, that it used to make sense. Now today, I don't know what makes any sense. I don't understand why prices are higher on things if people aren't involved as much in why is technology so expensive? Why does this medical supply cost so much? It's a plastic tube that's sterilized that's in a bag. If you have like a feeding tube, you could get a plastic straw at Disney World for like $1 or $2. You know what I'm saying? I know plastic straws are outdated, whatever. That's the kind of world I live in where I got to remember, plastic straws don't exist in half the country probably. Everybody's drinking out of paper straws. It's just, you got to understand at my age, nearly 50, not there yet, but hey, look, Eminem is almost 50. I don't feel bad. Dude just got put in the Hall of Fame, for God's sakes. That's amazing. Love Eminem. Little tidbit there for you. But I love all kinds of music genres. I'm a 90s person. That is my decade that I claim the most, probably. I'm really stretched out over the 80s and 90s. I was born in the 70s. I was a child through the 80s. I was a teenager through the 90s, and then the 2000s and on was my 20s and up. And here I am in 2023, 23. Oh my gosh. I'm excited about this year because I do like the number 23. That is one of my favorite numbers. I know Michael Jordan's number is 23, and but for me, I mean, that's iconic. That's just staple. For me personally, 23 goes to Don Mattingly of the New York Yankees. Told you I'm a Yankees fan. And he's a great first baseman, one of the best hitters in the game. Love his swing. Just the quintessential baseball player with the handlebar mustache and the divot in the chin and a wad in his mouth, spitting at the plate, squinty-eyed. It's almost like Wyatt Earp at bat, you know? That's just how badass Don Mattingly was as a baseball player. And he was a lefty, so he had that sweet swing, you know, of people like Will Clark and Ken Griffey Jr. and so forth. But Mattingly was a real hitter. Not only did he hit some good home runs, but he was just hitting for average as well, so he was on base a lot. And he played first base, so he's a very active player. Gotta love that. And lefties are perfect first basemen. Just for strategy, just easier. Look it up. Baseball fan, I love baseball. But anyway, 2023 is a weird year to be living in. I mean, with all the fascinations and the forward of technology and how life is different. Just shopping at the grocery store is just, you know, complicated. I mean, like, is the machine going to work? Is it cash card? Blah, blah, blah. It's just so, did I get everything? What is this way? What's the code on this? Blah. I don't know. I don't really shop a whole lot because I don't have a whole lot of money to shop with. So I'm one of those people that works 7 days a week. I have had to, really. I feel forced, actually, to not work as much because I just can't do everything I used to do. I used to house paint, so running up on house roofs and being up on ladders and stuff just don't work for me physically anymore, you know. So there's jobs I just can't do, and so I'm kind of limited down to what I can, and I like what I do, and I'm not complaining, but I used to, a year ago, what I make would pay the bills, and I have a little bit of money left over if I budget it right. All right. This year, I could barely pay the bills. So if anything happens, flat tire, blah, 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 you know, an emergency or whatever happens, you know, and you need to spend money, happens. That's what life is. Then that's a hard recovery to do. And a late fee, for example, bad, hard thing to deal with. But we live in a time now where you can't really talk to the manager. Everything's pushed up through a corporate chain. And this is where that corporate thing comes in. And I don't know if this week was supposed to be about corporate topics, but I think that is my main enemy in life now, if anything else, is how the corporate agenda has affected everything to the point that we're adjusted to and have to deal with, regardless if we want to or not. And I disagree with it tremendously, but at the same time, I understand that its purpose is what it needs to be, and that's to make business move forward, but not make society so complicated. Like, there's so many advancements out there, but it's prophesized. It's used for financial gain to the point that it almost loses its meaning to why it was made or invented to begin with. Because it becomes about the money, right? It's like so much technology out there exists and it could work with one another, but because of patents and things like that, you can't make this platform work with that platform because that's just, you know, everybody has to use different parts because it has to be different. The seatbelt, for example, was invented by a man that didn't want to put a patent on it because he felt like that was the best thing that every automobile needed to have. You see what I'm saying? It it really depends what you do with an idea. If you go for capital gain from it, then you're going to limit it. If you go for its potential and profit off of it probably 10 times what you would if you went after the money itself. And that's how I look at life. And people say, well, I'm a failure at that because I do live paycheck to paycheck. But that's not my fault, because I did achieve finding a job that could take care of the bills and have a little. That's all I'm looking for, you know. I'm not looking to be a rock star. Never have, never will be. Just don't have that personality for it. The podcast alone is more therapy for myself, because let's face it, the world isn't listening to me. No, you know, there's a handful of you loyal, honest, great people, and I really do want to say the few of you who have reached out or have interacted with me, whether through platforms or if you know me personally messaged me, or any type of support, I really do appreciate it. Those little moments where you just feel like you needed to let me know, you don't realize how much those little moments come at the right time, you know what I mean? And I really do appreciate that, guys, and that's why I keep doing it. If there's one person listening, I will keep doing the podcast. If it gets to that point where I realize that nobody's listening, I'll know. And, you know, I'm very realistic about who I am, and I don't treat this podcast as I'm some superior blah, blah, blah. I'm not. If anybody knows who I am, anybody knows I'm a big dork and just an average nobody, really. And yeah, so if I believe in all that, then where's all my blah, 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 you know? Where's my Quan? Movie reference. I believe if that's ever going to come into my life, I have to value it, I guess, or care about money. And I just don't think I care about it enough. Like, I might buy that lottery ticket today that everybody's going to be buying. By the way, it's like $900-something million, which is almost $1 billion. But the payout would be half a billion. I mean, really think about it. That's worth a ticket, I think. And so I'm definitely going to pick one of them up today. And that would be the only way that would ever happen for me. Otherwise, I've already accepted my fate. I'm just going out in the blaze of glory and trying out new things, and that's why the podcast seemed to be a good idea. And honestly, following advice given to me by very dear friends and family that I care about and love very much. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So again, another thank you for that. I love Fridays because Fridays you look back, you have a little retrospect on life. And like I said, this whole week I wanted to kind of talk about corporate stuff and talking about how technology moves things forward and just how crazy prices are higher, but technology is supposed to be cheaper, right? Should have been monetized, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. The monetization of things is what's, I don't know, kind of takes the glory out of it, huh? Everybody kind of chasing that dollar so much that they... No, sometimes it pushes people. I get it. Incentives. I understand that. I don't know. I guess it's what your purpose and what you're putting out there. I guess I don't know what I'm looking for. I guess just a listening ear or two. So I guess I got what I wanted, right? That's why I enjoy these little moments of retrospect and doing the podcast and talking to everybody. It gives little moments and for me to figure out myself a little bit, maybe what I need to do, and gives me a little bit of hope and makes me realize that life is going to continue to get crazy and change, and in the checkout line eventually I'll just be able to walk out and just take it off my debit card or whatever. That's how I'm pretty sure that's coming. And debit card, what's the point of having a debit card when you got this little apple of knowledge? It'll do it all. Everything will just be so integrated. Integrated. There we go, integrated. Working on it, folks. I'm working on it. But Don't forget, of course, later, we're going to be dropping number 6 of the top 10 of all-time movies from my perspective. And number 6 is going to be an interesting topic because it really is more than just one movie. And it is out of all the movies in my top 10 list, this is probably the most modern movie of them all. So it had to be somewhat special, right? But anyway, tune in for that one later on. Other than that, folks, I just wanted to give you some thoughts and perspective next time you go to the grocery store. Look at the high prices. Why are things so much more expensive? Why is everything freaking more expensive when all this technology should be making it easier, right? Or cheaper. It was supposed to be, like movies were supposed to be cheaper. But, Hollywood always had a way of making that. They don't want to, no one wants to let go of that dollar for life to be better. Think about it. It is from every perspective, too. Every perspective. Down to how you really look at life. It's all about that dollar. Show me the money. 1996. There was a movie that came out that had everybody saying that. But the heart and soul of that movie said at the end of it, none of it really matters unless you had at least someone to share it with. There's a scene in Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio. Great movie. Steven Spielberg directed it. True story. Where a person was being chased by the FBI, and he decided, every Christmas he would call the detective who was after him to say Merry Christmas and have a short conversation. Because he was all by himself. Like running around. He had no one else. And he just had to have someone to share the moment with. So he called his own pursuer. All I'm saying, folks, you can have the whole world chasing you down. You could be completely alone. But everybody wants you. You could be in a sea full of people and feel like you're in the middle of a desert. Then there's times where that sea of people come crashing down on you because it's too many. With life progressing the way it is, everybody walks outside with this whole agenda already programmed into their heads based on whatever garbage they have ingested overnight. And that includes myself. I'm not saying, I watch only good programming. No, I watch all kinds of crazy crap. If I get down rabbit holes that just make me go, what am I watching here? And so I have to stop. But, with all that going on, remember, you control what you look at. You also control how serious to take it. Remember, folks, life is not supposed to be this serious. It's serious because you want to live and exist and be happy and stuff, but quit worrying about everybody else. Let everybody's bubbles pass on by as you go on with your bubble. Keep that bubble bright. Keep it positive. It's infectious. Ignore all that negativity they're throwing at you. The frustration you feel at the grocery store when you just need a little help, but there's nobody around. But there's plenty of self-checkout registers. You know what I'm talking about. The human touch. Don't let that digital touch take away too much of the human touch that you are so blessed to have. Use that brain. Think about it. If something comes along and you question it, ask it. Figure it out. It may be stupid to everybody else, but it's important to you. And you know what? At the end of the day, you are alone when you lay your head down on that pillow. So wouldn't you like to make sure you fucking Scooby-Dooed that shit and figured it out? I'm pretty sure you would. So don't hold back. Every single day, every single moment, that's all you got. That's all we're living in, is the now. So don't get caught up in the past and wishing things were the way they were. And don't get caught up dreaming, thinking this is the way things should be. Make the best of how things are now and live in the moment and make the best of it that you can. And I promise you, you'll have a great day, even if nobody else knows about it. And sometimes those are the best. I hope everybody has a fantastic Friday, and thank you for listening to this extremely long episode. I didn't really think I was going to ramble this long, but I really had a lot of thankfulness I wanted to get out of me, as well as just kind of share some thoughts on my mind and how looking at life, it's beautiful. Watching the sun come up right now. Everybody's getting in their vehicles, running off to make the world go around. But it wouldn't have been cool if we just all got up and went fishing. Have a barbecue and a bonfire later on. Everybody eats and everybody's happy and we all go to bed and we wake up and do it again tomorrow. Oh, we'd be all living in teepees though. No cars. We would have horses. Anyway, folks, that's another episode for another day. Everybody have a great Friday, and I'll catch you later with the movie episode. Man, don't forget, love and laughter conquer hate and fear any day of the week. Go spread a little of that and be a conqueror. Don't be a victim.